News Nation. Everybody's mad as hell, right? At least online. And often, I don't think they even know why. They just know that they're being told to be, right? Well, I'll give you two reasons to really be mad if you want to be. Two, that we are getting screwed over money about, okay? One is a way where you have some control. One is where you don't, okay? Let's start with where you don't have control. Cable prices. I was on a call for over an hour today with Optimum Cable, just trying to get them to cancel services I never asked for. I'm telling you, it would be funny if I were making it up, but I'm telling you it was over an hour, okay? And you already know the story. You've been here, okay? But you should have heard my 15-year-old cracking up as I was unable to get this guy who wouldn't give me his full name, who wouldn't tell me where he was, who I could barely understand. There's no way he was in America. Heavy Southeast Asian accent. Some guy screaming in the background, all this applause. I can only imagine that it was from someone being upsold a package that they didn't need and just capitulating, okay? So all I was saying was cancel the service, cancel the service. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, I can help you. I can help you. Good, cancel it. Okay, please hold. Minutes go by, the crazy music comes back. One last question. You know that you really could get a better deal if you just... I don't want it, Lenny. That's what he told me his name was. Cancel it. Okay, but you really could. I don't want it. I don't want it. And all I wanted to do was hang up. But if I hang up, what happens? I'm going to keep paying, right? Because he wouldn't cancel it. I tell the guy, I'm a journalist. I'm an attorney. I have a national news program. Okay, please hold. I had no control, right? I can't get internet where I live without Optimum. Maddening. You know that feeling, right? Like you just got to give in. But there's another kind of money mischief that we technically can control, as it is a very definite choice made by our government. And right now, what are we supposed to be in as a mode? Saving money, right? I mean, after all the talk about waste, how big a priority it's been, right? All that stuff about the economy and gas and groceries, that's kind of gone by the wayside, right? That's kind of gone. Immigration, they said they were going to round up 15 million. He's doing what he can. It's been uneven. But DOGE has been the big stopgap, right? Waste, fraud, and abuse. Everybody does it. Every administration does it. There are all kinds of agencies that do it. We're acting like Musk has discovered something new, but that's certainly the focus. Getting rid of veterans, right, who are employees, other employees, despite the federal government being the same size for decades, deciding we don't need to spend on most foreign aid. Programs to help poor schools are going to be compromised. People to oversee how various states provide for education for the poor and special needs kids. We're going to get rid of that. So what do we need? How about a new fighter jet? How about a new fighter jet that costs more than just about anything else I just mentioned? No way, right? No way, right? I mean, not with Trump. Certainly not with Trump. He's not going to cave to the war pimps, as a member of his party calls them. No, not Trump. Yes, Trump. Today, we learned the U.S. awarded Boeing a multi-billion-dollar contract to create a sixth-generation fighter jet. Did you know that there were 6 generations? The F-47. Oh, 47. I wonder what that's named. Oh, Trump. No wonder he likes it. Listen to him.
So we had a big day. We gave out the world's greatest fighter jet, by far, they say. I think in terms of every criteria known to man, it's the best. Now, that doesn't mean in 5 years it'll be good. It'll be totally obsolete in 5 years, I guess. But that's the way it works. But there's never been a plane designed or made like this, and we'll have them within about a 2-year period.
2-year period, huh? That's what they say, huh? 5 years, it's obsolete. You know what the startup cost is, like just to put out the door? You know what I mean? Just to hang the shingle, just to get it started? $20 billion. All we know about this fighter jet is that it can operate with a fleet of drones, okay, which is a new potential concern. Stealthy, fly longer than the F-35. Ah, yes, the F-35. You remember that? Trump pissed all over it as proof of how wasteful military spending can be. The F-35 was promised to change the game by them. All it changed is our debt structure. Lockheed originally said the entire program would cost $200 billion. Whew, that's something, right? It's all the foreign aid that they just canceled and won. The F-35 was touted as a more capable and affordable option. Guess what? The F-35 program is now over $2 trillion because of cost overruns and technical problems. I'm sure none of that will happen with the F-47. 200 to 2 trillion. And now they're doing another one when we're supposed to care about the debt so much that you'll cut all foreign aid because after all, you got to take care of your own. But we need another fighter jet when you don't even know what the F-35 was supposed to be able to do. And this one, the F-47, is reportedly more expensive than the F-35. Again, $20 billion just to say, let's try it. The Air Force put the program for what's now called the F-47 to please Trump, which I'm sure had something to do with this. They put it on hold last year because each jet was going to cost at least, get ready for this, guess how much each? $300 million. Triple what the F-35 costs. Triple. You can't make it up. How do kids and poor countries lose, but these corporate folks always win? The total Pentagon budget in 2023 was what? $776 billion. We spend $50 billion a year on nuclear weapons, okay? You just spent a little less than half of that just to get this thing started. You spend 50 on nukes. Why are we afraid of North Korea, of what Iran is going to be, of China, of Russia? Nukes, not their fighter jets. But we spend $50 billion on that, 20 just to start this project. Trillions on a fighter jet that now we need a new one of. The DOJ budget is $46 billion. We spend $10 billion on the FBI. We're paying twice than what we pay for the whole FBI when we have so many. Right now, 20 million people, including 600,000 kids, aren't receiving HIV treatment because Trump said we need to save money. How much was he paying for that? $7 billion a year. But 20 just to start for another kind of jet. I don't get it. What is great about this? I'll tell you what it's great for again. The rich contractors, right? It's great for them again. Is that what Trump wants to be about? Does he think that gets him on Rushmore? Spending a redonkulous amount of money on jets that we don't use? Abandoning people all over the globe for another fighter jet? Which really means you're doing it for Boeing, right? And the billionaire class of elitists that Trump was supposed to stop favoring over the rest of you. What are we about? What is our why? What is our code? What is our principle? Is this why Elon avoided the Defense Department in favor of other agencies that don't benefit him and Trump as much? I don't know, but this looks terrible. Now, Lenny, he had to try to upsell me. He had to. That's how he keeps his job. It was clear in his tone. It was clear in the insistence after I was telling him, stop it, stop it. What is motivating Trump to spend so much on something I can't even believe we need? What am I missing? Let's bring in somebody who knows better. Georgia, member of Congress, Republican, and dare I say, friend of show, Dr. Rich McCormick. Doc, good to see you. Happy Friday.
Hey, thanks. And I don't mean to brag or anything, but I fly some of those military aircraft. That's near and dear to my heart. I'm also on the space and aeronautics, as well as tactical air and land in Congress. So this stuff is right in my wheelhouse. I'm happy to talk about this. I think we have a little bit of misconceptions out there, and I'd love to have a good discussion with you about it.
Help me understand it. You and I have both talked about how you are not afraid to look at defense spending because of the debt, because of the deficit. Help me understand how you can cut 80+% of foreign aid. That's what DOGE wants. Hasn't been projected to Congress yet. You guys have not decided to do it yet, in fairness to the process. But tell me why this F-47 makes sense.
Well, this is going to sound contradictory because I am a fiscal conservative. I voted against the last CR in December. Both of those, I was one of 38 and one of 34 because I didn't think we did enough to cut. I think we have a ton of waste, fraud, and abuse. I do think we have to take a particularly hard look at foreign aid because we have a lot of things we all agree were wasteful spending. But I also think we have to be very involved in foreign aid. And I think we have to be smart about it because, quite frankly, we don't want to be the ugly American. We want to make sure that we're exerting our power worldwide, that people understand who we are and what we stand for. Otherwise, we will be taking place by China and Russia and other bad actors if we're not there to set the example. When it comes to military leadership, though, realize this. Most people don't realize we're at the lowest GDP investment by percentage since 1940. I know that sounds absurd. I know we put a ton in the military right now. And by the way, we're spending more on interest payments than we are in the military right now. But quite frankly, China is kicking our butts in a lot of areas. And one of those is in fighters. The F-35 has not measured up. We have a lot of shortfallings. We have to make sure that we don't have a system that's going to fall behind in a conventional war. I know we like to talk about nuclear. Nobody wants to have a nuclear war. We haven't had a peer war between two nuclear powers since we've had nukes. We've had a lot of proxy wars. But quite frankly, we've been talking about this during the entire Biden administration. We've been talking about developing a next generation fighter. And I know you said you didn't even know there was a sixth-generation fighter, but I'm really ashamed that you didn't watch Top Gun Maverick because that's a really good documentary.
I did. I did. I loved it. I loved his message at the beginning of it. I loved the whole thing. Doc, look, if the F-35 is a dud, why don't you stop spending money on that program before you start thinking of a new one? And I thought Russia and China were a fraction of our air supremacy, a fraction. We really need that to be competitive?
Unfortunately, we do. We're really behind it in air right now. Quite frankly, the legacy systems, the aircraft carriers we built in the past, very vulnerable systems to these hypersonic missiles now. The defense systems we need, we have a lot of development we have to do on leading edge technologies. We have to be careful not to lock ourselves into one kind of contract, even with the F-47, that we have developing technologies that are literally every year going to modify. I just came back from SpaceX today. And I'll tell you, those guys are modifying every single launch. That's how quick technologies are developing, that you can't stand still, that we're going to have to be very mobile. We're going to have better contracts, more efficient contracts, award companies that do it right, that don't have huge cost overruns, that are doing it with the best of intentions, that realizing that we're going to have drones and unmanned aircraft, semi-autonomous and autonomous aircraft. They're going to go out there and do some real spectacular things that have never been done before. And we have to adapt to the future or we will die. It is way more expensive to lose a war than it is to be prepared to dominate. And I tell you, strength through peace. Or peace through strength, I should say.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly right. Strength through peace would be nice, Doc. I wish we could do it that way. But look, here, I'm having a hard time following, and I'll tell you why. One, what you say about efficiencies, I don't know how you can put Boeing on that list. These guys have gotten away with murder in government contracts in terms of price overruns, delays, the scrutiny for them and Lockheed. Nobody else could stay in business if they weren't on the government tit the way these guys are. And how do you start a new project before you cancel the F-35? Everybody says it was a mistake, but you keep the funding going until 2040? And then you start a new one on top of it, but you got to dismantle the Department of Education because we just don't have the money? How can the American people accept this as being the right set of priorities? I don't get it, Doc.
Yeah, don't get me started on education. There's so many things we could do better in education. I used to
but
teach
not in
private,
defense?
And no,
but not in
I'll
defense.
tell you, and I love private and public education. Is huge interest of mine. We could talk about that in another segment. But as far as the military goes and the way we develop, you're right. There's been horrible misunderstanding, not just misunderstanding, but misappropriations, in my opinion. When we've done this time and time again, we've been horrible on our contracting, on our deliveries, on our ability. Boeing's had some problems. The reason that Elon
and
went
you don't think it's going to happen this time?
Yeah, and I'm worried about that. And I think there needs to be consequences, quite frankly. And if businesses can't keep up, guess what? There should be some sort of consequence. I don't think we can do business as usual. I think those days are gone. I think that Elon and the DOGE and the president and Congress all need to take a hard look at how we do our contracting, the rewards, the benefits, so people don't just send out these contracts, win them because they have pipe dreams, and then don't fulfill their end of the bargain. I don't think the government should keep on eating these contracts. That's why we've consolidated from 51 defense industries into 6. There's not much competition. We need to make sure that when you have competition, they're held accountable.
Doc, I appreciate you giving me some look. You know this stuff. I don't know it, but I got to tell you, it's a bad look. And I'm not. It's not you proposing it. It's coming from the the Secretary of Defense and Trump. And I tell you, I thought he was going to be different than this. I really did. I thought he wasn't going to. Ned Burchett calls them the war pimps. These contractors that make all this money off us. I didn't think Trump was going to feed them like this. Not this early when we're trying to cut everywhere else. But here we are. Doc, thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Appreciate you doing it. We'll continue the conversation.
I look forward to it. We're going to have an honest conversation. I think we'll do better. Hopefully we'll get it done right this time.
That'd be nice. 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Take care, Doc. Coming up.